Today we have combined more than 2 billion subscribers. When you start, it's good to find that niche and not think too broad straight away. So you need to then stand out and build the brand over time. So that's a different type of challenge. With AI, I think there's a lot of interesting things going on, but also let's sometimes be rational and critical as well of some of these announcements.
Welcome to TellyCast, the content industry's podcast show. I'm Justin Crosby. Today, we're diving into the world of digital-first media with one of the biggest players in the space. TheSoul Publishing is a global powerhouse in digital content creation, with billions of views across YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. They've mastered the art of audience engagement at scale and built a business that thrives in an ever-changing digital ecosystem. For more interviews with the movers and shakers of the content industry, why not subscribe to TellyCast on YouTube? Just search TellyCast TV and hit that subscribe button. Joining me today is Victor Potrel, SVP of Partnerships and Creator Services at TheSoul Publishing. We'll explore the strategies behind their sustained success, how they adapt to evolving platform algorithms and audience habits, and what the future holds for digital-first media businesses. We'll also discuss monetization in a fluctuating market, the role of AI in content creation, and how TheSoul Publishing stays ahead in an increasingly competitive space. Plus, with CPM shifting, how is the company navigating the financial side of digital content? Victor, welcome to TellyCast. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm very happy to be here. Big fan of the podcast and the show as well. So.
Oh, great. Well, it was great to have you on the show. And we had one of your colleagues on about sort of a year or so ago, maybe a bit longer. So it's great to have you in the studio this time to chat about TheSoul Publishing. And first of all, congratulations on your 2 nominations for the TellyCast Digital Video Awards.
Actually.
3 nominations. Yeah. I should know that, shouldn't I?
That's all right.
Fantastic. Yeah.
We lost track as well.
Yeah. So great. Studio of the Year, and then there's a branded content category as well.
Yeah. And we also have collaboration with Bunny J Kids. We'll probably talk about it as well.
Yes. Yeah.
So 3 nominations. I hope some of them turn into actual awards, but it'll be up to the judges.
Well, we're going to find out in June anyway. We're going to be announcing our ceremony and everything else in the coming weeks. So we're looking forward to that. So anybody that doesn't know about TheSoul Publishing, just give us a bit of a potted history of the business.
Cool. Yeah, the origin story. So basically, TheSoul Publishing started, funny enough, as a website business. So it was a website that was kind of general entertainment, talking about advertising. And in order to drive more traffic to the website, the company started to post videos on Facebook. It was around 2016. So Facebook was pushing videos more than it is now, even more than it is now. Yeah. And actually, we're starting to make some simple crafting videos around the brand 5-Minute Craft.
Why was that? So was that was the first videos that you published was around crafting. What drove you to actually move into that?
Yeah, I think
specific niche.
Yeah, it will be something that come up the years later, but it was that focus on very visual content, but also that is universal and positive in general. So it was something that everyone can understand across the globe as well, so that it would perform well on those global platforms. And it did, actually. So 5-Minute Craft became the #1 DIY brand in the world. And, from there, we expanded from Facebook to other platforms. Over time, today, we have more than 50 platforms. And also, we launched new brands and new IPs because we have a team that is very creative. And we make full use of the digital tools that exist in terms of launching new brands, new IPs, testing them, stopping them, or scaling them if they work well. So over time, we continue to scale the business. We have a strong foundation in tech as well. So we build the technology to support our growth. And today we have combined more than 2 billion subscribers, followers.
That's right, yeah. 25 billion monthly views or something in that region?
Actually, it's around 250 billion.
Really? 250 billion?
Everything, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's a lot of views. And that's across all the different brands that we have. So we have 5-Minute Craft, we have Brightside, we have some kids entertainment content as well. We have different animated content. We have some live action also. So we have a lot of digital first IPs that we've built over the years, but also we localize them, whether with text, metadata, or voiceover. Okay. And so that gives us an additional reach. So we cover more than 20 languages.
So all your content, 20 languages.
Not all our content, but the one that makes sense across this language. We can go as up as I think it's 23 or 24 languages.
Okay.
And of course that helps with the scale of what we build. And then also we have a strategy to go to as many platforms as we can. So yeah, I mean, it's still remarkable to have reached this, to be reaching these numbers.
Extraordinary. I mean, you talk about how many platforms did you say again?
More than 50 today.
More than 50. And is that including things like fast channels?
Yeah, exactly. So like that's been like a big development area in the last, since fast started to be a thing. So last 3-4 years. And yeah, we've grown there. So we're on, Samsung, when Rakuten, Roku. So that's been like focus. And what we see is that our brands, they perform really well there because we have that share of voice within digital platforms like YouTube, social media. And when we move there without any marketing, we reach billions of views just because people gravitate toward the content, and also they really like our content. So then they stay and they watch it. So yeah, it's been definitely like an expansion area for us to reach those longer form platforms.
Yeah, and presumably the States is the biggest market for you on Fast.
Yeah, Fast, it's quite big. I would say quite mature in the US. So what we see is platforms, some of them, they are, the quality of the content there is like amazing. So, it's great to see 5 Minute Craft alongside some shows, that are being made for TV and like has this very high bar, and we can see the performances on par. And then there's also some opportunities in Europe as well. We see, because again, we have different languages. So same in Latin America, there's a big market. It's a bit more growing there. So there's some opportunities as well.
Well, it's a really substantial business, and thinking of the number of years that you've built the business up. I mean, to get to that scale, what's the secret to building and maintaining that sort of engagement, that massive engagement and reach that you have?
I would say that there are two main things. One is about the risk that we take, and we try to be very flexible in digital. Things change really quickly. So when we see new trends on the market, we make sure that we jump on them. So one of them, for instance, short form content, and now it's a couple of years. But back in 2019, we started to move to TikTok and adapt our content in short formats. And then in 2021, when YouTube Shorts launched, actually it launched first in India. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, that's right.
It was for a couple of months,
like a very long
only
time
available
ago.
there for different reasons. So because we had this content localized for this market, we started to launch it there as well, and we could test rapidly. Even though at the time we didn't know if it would become like a massive thing, but we knew YouTube was pushing behind it, and it was going to be an area of investment. So also that relationship and understanding the direction of our distribution platform is very important, I think, for anyone who is interested in digital.
Yeah. I mean, and there's a number of different platforms. You're on Instagram, obviously TikTok, YouTube, and short form as well. I mean, how do you tailor your content strategies then for each platform? I mean, because it gives us a sense of how much content you're publishing a week.
I actually don't know the number out of my head, but it will be a lot of videos because if you think about the 50 platforms and the different languages already, so probably in the thousands and tens of thousands. And then the different formats as well. So I would say one thing that we are really focusing on is that efficiency. So we have built this tool internally called TheSoul, which started together with the company, and it really helps us from production to distribution to go through different stages and stay efficient and make sure our teams are focused as well. So script writers can only focus on script writing, editors can only focus on editing, actors, when we have them, or animators can focus on that. And then it moved to different stages, and the distribution as well, like, is supported by different tools so that we can be efficient, because if you publish thousands of videos, but you have to pay a certain cost for each distribution, and you spend too much time, manually editing and things like that, of course, it's going to be very difficult to make it work. So we have different set of tools, which add the subtitles, which change the format, which might...
Is this the AI tools, AI-driven tools?
Yeah, it's, AI tools. I should say AI, I guess.
Yeah.
Some of them is not even that AI, but I guess some of them do generate also like elements. So we have those tools that helps this adaptation across platforms. So I think that's the first thing. You gotta do it in an efficient way if you're going to publish across different platforms. And the second one is, of course, we put some ownership within the hands of the team that work with different platforms, because there are two different flow of content in a way. There's the new content that we produce. There it's important to adapt it so we can try it on different platforms. We can't always predict 100% if it's going to be successful on a platform or not, but we rather have it there and then see if it does well, especially if it's an incremental small cost to get there. And the second thing is we make sure that the team are able to go back to our archive of content, which over the years has grown a lot, and are able to pick the things that might be relevant for their specific platform or audiences. So going back to the archive and curating content as well. And again, we make this archive very accessible on our site so that they could go back to different videos. They can find where it's been posted before. They can adapt it maybe differently, change the music, add some elements and post it so they can react quickly on trends. And I think it's very important because from what I see, I worked at Lego before and YouTube as well. And sometimes there's this underutilization of assets that might sit somewhere in the past. So it's very important to empower the team, make it easy for them to go back because sometimes things are trending. I mean, there's the regular things like Valentine's Day, you can always take your 2014 content, it's probably relevant, but then there are things that you cannot predict. And then it's good to have that flexibility and be reactive.
So we've seen a whole load of shifts in digital content over the last year, specifically, and I mean it's always changing, shifting, and consumption habits are always changing as well. I mean, how do you maintain that leadership role? I mean, how do you adapt to these changes? I mean, is that your role specifically? To see what trends are happening and how do you do that? Are there certain tools that you use to identify different changes in consumption habits?
Yeah, so it's part of my team responsibility. My team works very closely with our distribution partners and also with some creators that we provide services with. But it means that again we are trying to understand where those platforms want to go. What's the roadmap? What are the things they're launching? Because usually when platform launches and pushes a feature, it's a good thing to understand it and see if it can make sense. There's a certain element of pushing that they might do in the beginning to try it. So
a good example of that is maybe the ultra long form, like 3-hour long kind of videos, which I've heard from a couple of other publishers that maybe they're not pushing that as much as they used to, but I don't know if you're finding that.
I mean, definitely there's been that time where it felt like it was a little secret that TV content is being watched on YouTube, and even though we probably go out and repeat it to people, they didn't believe us somehow. And then people that did have, and we created longer formats of our shows as well to be consumed on TV, and we saw a lot of success on this. Whether it's maybe background content, but not even just people want to binge watch something. So I think it's getting more competitive. So that may be why it's it's seen as not working as well. But there's probably more people that are switched to that approach. I think another interesting example of seeing what the platforms are doing is YouTube with the dubbed. So it's something that existed for a year or a year and a half, and we tested it when it was launched actually, and we can see that on some programs we can grow for instance our Portuguese audience by 30-40%, which
this is the auto dubbing basically.
Not auto, even just normal dubbing, because we translate and localize our content, so we were able to use those localizations on the content and test if people prefer to watch just a pure Portuguese channel.
This was the ability not to have to launch a new separate channel.
It's like an audio track basically. It's just, in a way, it's like something that existed for a while, but not on YouTube. And I think it was something that people were asking a lot about. And then they launched it, and now they're pushing it even more as well. And we can see that, it does help to find new audiences because it's a use case that makes sense as well, and you can aggregate your audience. Doesn't make sense in all the scenarios, but in some cases, it's actually something that, again, we tried and we saw some uplift in certain countries where we can see that traffic from the language that we add in the audio track is higher than what it would be normally.
Yeah. And I've seen some news or some rumors that that YouTube's going to be rolling out auto dubbing, international dubbing at some point, AI driven. I mean, they're talking about that coming at this year sometime. Right?
I think they've been testing it with some users. And I think we'll monitor that. We do try work with AI tools as well for localization.
Yeah.
I think we make sure that the quality is good, and we have teams that compare like the performance. I think
Yeah.
for now it doesn't work with all the formats, but yeah, of course, something we are monitoring and seeing how it will evolve. But yeah, it will be interesting. I think we'll have to see the adoption and how it improves and
see if it's better than actually manually doing it, which which
Yeah.
is more hands-on and obviously more time-consuming. But so let's talk about disruption within YouTube, for example. I mean, we've seen CPMs fluctuating quite significantly, and we've seen platform algorithms changing as well. For a company like yours, those changes must be hugely impactful, right? How do you create a sustainable business with digital media when you have a lot of focus on digital publishing, and then all of a sudden the CPMs drop by 20%, and that's what I'm hearing that from a lot of publishers, that the CPMs dropped around the US elections. Well, first of all, are you seeing that? Or
You haven't really experienced that, I think.
Right.
I mean, yeah, in general, end of last year was quite strong, and beginning of this year is actually like, it's always January is not the best month in digital media.
Yeah.
It was actually okay to some aspect.
Okay.
And YouTube announced the results. I think they crossed 10 billion revenue for the first time in the quarter in Q4. So it's at least overall the platform seems to be growing. So again, there might be differences in different categories. And then, to answer your question, I think for us, I think it's kind of, let's say, common answer, but how you execute it is important, is diversification. So we've seen a lot of players that were digital first over the years that maybe focused all their energy and all their knowledge and everything into one platform.
Yeah.
And of course, I mean, those platforms, they have their own priorities and they compete in their own market, so they need to evolve as well. And sometimes if you don't really follow that evolution, or if you haven't keep track of it, then it can be damaging to your business.
Well, we saw that with Facebook, didn't we?
Facebook, I think, is the example in 2014, and there's been different iteration of changes. So if you were building a business that is just using Facebook as a platform to get links to your articles, then it can be difficult. So that's really like one of the things when I started in 2019 that I took to heart is like, let's expand our distribution avenues. Let's go on all those platforms like, even Pinterest, TikTok, Fast, AVOD platform, SVOD platform on TV. First, grow our audience there, because, that's the first thing. Like, we have to find the right format, we have to create the right content or adapt in the right way. And then once we get that sizable audience, which usually we are pretty good at, using the tools like the analytics, all these great tools that each platform usually provides. And then you find a way to generate the revenue. So of course there's the obvious programmatic advertising that platform share, but then you also open up opportunities for brand deals, which is something we're doing as well.
Well, I wanted to talk to you about that actually. Before we talk about brands, how about direct-to-consumer revenue models and memberships, for example? Is that something that that you do? And give us talk us through that.
I think it's super interesting. Actually, I was reading the Patreon reports. Well, obviously, they are pushing this type of revenue. And they talk about it in a way that, it's like a deep type of interaction. So you have your fans in general, and then you have your super core fans. And those are the ones that are willing to support you as well and become members and so on. We did some tests on some of our brands. I would say that sometimes the way that we distribute content and the way that our brands are very universal and global, it can be difficult to nail down to like a smaller community. So some people, do actually follow we have like a virtual influencer, for instance, Paula. And she's like kind of personality led, and for her, like, she was able to sell some dance moves in a concert in a virtual world, for instance.
Oh, really?
One of these it was Avac in life, so it's like a virtual world, and people were willing to buy this like specific dance move that she does in her songs. So that was one of the engagement. But on the membership, what we see is like it's very strong with creators. So we have like part of the business that works with creators and support them in scaling their business. Underscore Talent, it's a US based company.
Okay.
And there, like, of course, like we see a lot of product lines, kind of ramification of people becoming big on digital media, but then becoming real businesses.
Real world businesses,
exactly,
so merchandising and different products, essentially.
Exactly, yeah. And, merchandise is something we've done as well with 5 Minute Craft, for instance. It was in Walmart.
Yeah.
So, over time, we did test some of these approaches. I would say like one of the interesting approach that we have as well, working with brands, but also creators, some of them, because we have this experience in scaling a business on digital, we actually work with them to help them, whether it's like content distribution, generating revenue on new platforms, or production services for some of them. We are helping them, and we have proven our expertise in a way. So then people are going to us to understand like how we can help them either produce or distribute more effectively. And that has become like a growing revenue as well line for us.
Any conversation with a leader within the digital first arena has got to touch on AI at some point. So let's look at that for a second.
Such a 2024 topic.
Yes, well, it is.
But I think it will come into 2025.
Well, I think 2025 is where we're going to be by the end of the year, and how AI is going to be influencing digital content production. I mean, obviously it's been used in dubbing and clipping and editing and everything else, but and you talked about virtual influencers. I mean, how are you adopting AI as TheSoul Publishing, and where do you see it becoming most useful to you?
Yeah, so I see like the way that we've implemented it is, I would say, two ways. One is within the production process and distribution process. You mentioned some of it. So because we already have that set of tools and processes to help guide our production and distribution team, basically we continue to improve those tools, and some of those features are AI. So to give you one example, we have created a lot of thumbnails, as you can imagine, over the years.
Yeah.
And so we basically took that bank of thumbnails, and we trained AI to be able to understand the style of a specific brand. And then we can recreate thumbnails just by prompting our system. So that saves a lot of time.
So you train it on the basic thumbnail that works, and then you can iterate on that basically for new episodes.
Exactly, yeah. So it keeps the style, it retains the things, and it kind of suggests potential ways that the thumbnails can be interesting. And on some platform, it's very important. Obviously, it's your packaging. So so that has that's just one example where we kind of infuse that. But there's other parts as well in localization, to help like transcript the text, for instance, and have a first draft for someone to review. So I think in that part of that production process, and then in the distribution, in clipping, adapting the formats and making sure it stay within the action. So there are companies that entirely, distribution is like basically this, or take a long form, making it into shorts. We have this into our system basically. So there it's like a lot about efficiency, saving time, and being faster from production to distribution. And then the other, I think I almost treat it differently, like this kind of pure AI content experiments, let's say.
Well, we see there's so many like faceless channels on YouTube that are purely AI driven, AI created. Do you run any faceless channels then?
We tried some like animation, we have like we have some little characters for kids, that we tried. It's like supported by AI, and then we have like some teams that try like pure AI creation. I think for now, what I see, things might evolve later on, and when people listen to this podcast in 2016 or 26. But what I see is that for now, it's almost like a category on its own. So of course you get the obvious, like, this is not labeled as AI, but we're not doing that, but this is actually AI. And I think a lot of the time people can tell. I mean, it's I don't think we're at that point yet. And then there's the quite interesting, I think, like category of, this is AI content. I watch it and it has a specific feel to it, and I see what people are able to come up with. And there are even some platforms that are just AI video platform, right? You just go to watch that. You have some award shows for AI films. So I think it will become a category on its own, and people will continue to experiment within that. So there we're always testing and seeing if we can come up with interesting stories just with purely AI tools and AI concept. But I think again for now it's probably just like its own category. I don't think as a consumer, as a viewer myself, like I want to, I want to decide when I watch AI content, or I want to decide when I don't watch AI content. And I think it will be like this for a while. So I think the platform will reflect that, oh, you want to watch AI, so we have this section, and this is, it's going to be that. And then maybe this section is like, it's made by human in a way,
yeah.
and it's like the organic section
Yeah.
or something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Now, again, it's conversations that I've had with businesses that are publishing digitally and digital first video. They say that now it's difficult to grow a channel as fast as what you used to be able to do, say, 5 years ago. Is that something that you're seeing? Because obviously there is so much content being published and so much choice. Is that something that you're seeing? It's maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago, it was you could grow a channel at a certain sort of speed, and maybe there's a bit more difficult to do that these days. Do you see that?
I think it has changed the way that you can grow. Like first, now there's short form. Obviously, it's not so much that it's short form; it's the way that it's discovered by the user.
Yeah.
So it's algorithm-based, usually feed-based discovery, and so you have a chance with this kind of format, let's say, but you need to then stand out and build the brand over time. So that's a different type of challenge than maybe before. It was more of a slow grind, but now it's like, okay, you're going to be seen by a certain amount of people. Like usually, that's how this platform work. Like they do like a little test on maybe 1,000 viewers, and if no one really liked it, then they're not going to like promote it. They try to find the right people that. So you have your chance. So I think it's different type of discovery. Like we see like almost short form like a trailer, and you can build your consistency over time, and then you can expand into longer form. Going straight to long form, I think it can work as well, but it depends what kind of niche you're talking about. If you are very broad, of course there's a lot of competition, and also things have been done a lot. Like it's been 20 years of YouTube. So yeah, it's maybe more difficult sometimes to come up with a brand new long form concept that is not already done. But if you have like something that is very niche, I think you can easily find your audience, and that's the beauty of it as well. And I think there's still some unexplored niche. Whether I don't know if you're a fan of accounting, there are fans of accounting or people studying for it. Like you have like a niche, in the UK or in the US of like people going deep into these topics. There's even an elevator channel on YouTube dedicated to review different elevators. One of my favorites. I think about it every time I take an elevator. That is a bit special. But yeah, anyway. So like those are very niche topics. Maybe there's this guy somewhere that loves elevator, and then he can find that actually there are potentially tens of thousands of fans like him, but he wouldn't be able to find them before. So there, I think that, again, don't say to people to start elevator channels, but I think there are opportunities within certain niche, and when you start, it's good to find that niche and not think too broad straight away.
Just double down on your niche, and but don't maybe stay away from the elevator channel.
It's already taken.
It's already taken.
It's not my channel.
And that brings me back to TheSoul Publishing's breakout success. Is probably due to the fact that you talked right at the beginning about it being universal content, craft content, for example, being something that can resonate with everybody and it can cut across cultural barriers, right? I mean, is that one of the key aspects of your success? Do you think that it's absolutely niche, but it's a big niche and it's universal? I mean, is that why you think that you're still having this sustained success?
I think, it's part of the reason that was conscious choice. Of course, there are other reasons in the way that we use. First, we set up as digital media from the start. We don't have to deal with maybe a legacy business and try to transfer it or change the way we are built for that. So we're able in the beginning to create content, in a week from ideation to distribution. Now we shorten it sometimes to 2 days, for shorts or even less. So of course that has been a big advantage, but then the universal content, I think it helps a lot in terms of discovery, and because those platforms are global, and some other publishers or content creators might think more on a local scale, but like you have access to that audience across borders. And actually we see it's not just us. We see the biggest TikToker in terms of followers, Kaby Lame. I don't know if you know about him. He's making skits where he doesn't talk. Like that's his thing. It's like humor. And when you see him talk, it's like surprising because he never talks in his videos. But everyone across all the countries resonate with that, because it's like humor where you don't need to know the specificities of what he says. So it's like the global culture in a sense. So of course that helps to open this this potential audience. But I think also we also made conscious choice to localize, translate our content for the ones that have, that are shows that where there's voice and where you might, you might need to understand it in specific language, but we try to not make it local specific. So we never done things like news or even like super localized sports content, for instance, because then, you're talking more to the local audience. Also, it can be divisive, and we try to stay positive overall.
Yeah. Okay. So looking forward to 2025, we're already 2 months in. What do you see the key opportunities for 2025? I mean, it comes to, digital first publishing. I mean, do you see any trends or opportunities that are particularly exciting to you?
Yeah, obviously we'll continue to capitalize on the short form trend, the super long form trend, like you mentioned, and the fact that now more and more of our audience is watching our programs on TV already, and like support that distribution further. I think one interesting trend that we've seen last year, and we're doing some experiment in that area, is this serialized short form content. So I don't know if you remember Quibi, which was a company that maybe came at the wrong time or in the wrong way, but basically they were creating some short form shows or vertical shows in their case. But that would
they
be
were
like
scripted shows.
Scripted shows, super premium, and too premium, one might say. It didn't work, but anyway, now what we're seeing is like there are, even on the platform themselves or specific platforms that distribute content that are those mini-series. And you can watch it either like one by one or like as a whole on the platform, on specific platforms. But they are like vertical content. They are like kind of interesting TV. Some of it is a bit like telenovelas. So it's like over dramatic sometimes topics. But we see that people actually love to consume content in this way. So, they might either watch it as a short form or they might start to watch it as a series of things. And last year there was a couple of content, of videos, channels that went viral on TikTok, kind of following this, even though it was not exactly necessarily scripted, a lot of it, but it was that serialized aspect of people going back every day to watch a short form. So I think we are trying something into this. So I would say if there's like interesting trend, maybe that for this year that is not the broad ones, that would be one.
That's interesting. And so, do you do any scripted content so far? I mean, is that something that you've tested? Because I always think of your content as all unscripted and all factual. But
we did a little bit, of like translating our fun content into different series. And, we did experimented with some of this, but always trying to keep our core values in the content as well.
Okay. So talking about the digital first industry as a whole, and perhaps producers that may be crossing over from the TV industry who are taking their first steps in digital first, could you give some advice to them? I mean, a lot of people think, it's too late. They're too late to the game, when you've got many companies like yours who've been in existence for a decade or longer and having real success within digital first. I mean, what sort of advice would you give to a TV production business that maybe has some catalog, their own rights in, maybe a couple of 100 hours of TV content? What advice would you give them setting out on their digital first path?
Yeah, I mean, I would say going back to the point I was making before on the niche. So, of course, depends on the kind of catalog it is, but try to find like niche content and not be too broad to start with, because it can be just more difficult to compete for attention, frankly, if it's a very broad topic. So I think if you can nail it down to like specific topic and try to push within that niche, then you will have more success, especially in the early stages, to grow to a certain size, because then your audience will be much more targeted and much more engaged. So I would say that's probably the first content, and then the first advice. And I would say second thing, it's maybe relevant as well to content creators in general too. It's to find like delegation or partners if necessary. So we've worked with brands, for instance, and with creators as well, to help them at a certain stage at delegation. But also it can actually be successful to see like we can support this initiative on digital. We have the tools, because sometimes companies are not necessarily set up to do this effectively.
So you can consult essentially, you can
consult, and we even execute for some brands. So we work on Crayola YouTube channel, for instance, Hasbro Transformers, where we did production and help them with distribution. So yeah, we work and we actually execute for them in terms of like editing the content, distributing it, optimizing the monetization, and so on.
Yeah.
We're not the only one who are doing this. So it's just to say like that can be actually a great way as well for these companies, because you might be able to be more cost effective, and actually the overall result will be better.
Yeah, and they're benefiting from your expertise of working in this sector for a long time. So it makes complete sense.
Yeah.
I mean, talking about brands, do you see more and more brand-led channels launching over the next couple of years? Brands becoming entertainment brands in their own right. You mentioned Crayola, which is, I know it's something that, again, that you're nominated for at the Digital Video Awards, but and we're seeing a number of sportswear brands and retailers in the UK having real success, like Foot Asylum and JD Sports and one or two others. Is that something that you expect to see more of?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a brand like Crayola that you mentioned, it's a brand that when we work with them, we're able to grow their views, organic views 40 times. So you can see, like, for them, it's like a new way to advertise without having to maybe pay for the visibility.
Yeah.
And the engagement is very strong because it's organic content, so people want to watch and engage. So I think, it's definitely a trend that I see continuing. They want to be present in those platforms where the consumers are. They want to engage.
Well, it's direct to their own consumers, right? Rather than having a TV channel as the middleman, if you like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I'd probably still like target their advertising to have specific audiences that they want to target that might not be, but they know it's going to be like also another way. And I think the interesting thing, you see also a lot of the reverse, right? So you see a lot of people that started as creators and become brands in their own right, brand in the sense that are launching actual products and using the platform that they build with the content and with the fans in order to launch this potential real life product that they know their audience really well. They have a great marketing tool because they have huge platform. So like I would also see that competition as well for the brands, like that you have these new brands that come from the content side all of a sudden, and the reach is huge and the results are really good as well, as we've seen I think a lot in the US but also in the UK of like all some of the products. Different business for some of those, and again they're turning into entrepreneurs. I think it's becoming different, but it's still like very relevant.
And now it's time for Story of the Week, where my guests get to nominate the biggest content industry story of the past 7 days. Victor, what's your Story of the Week?
So it's story of YouTube and TV. So it was about, I think, just a week ago. So there was a Neil Mohan article. The CEO of YouTube made some noise saying that in the US, the share of YouTube, the share of devices that where viewers are on YouTube is the number one is TV, and it's taken over mobile, which is something that we've seen for a while, but I think it's like just further show first the success of YouTube on the TV device, but also that YouTube themselves is something they really want to push and promote.
Of course.
For obvious reasons. There is obviously the content side of things. They want to encourage more of the TV content to be on YouTube. And I think a lot of partners have seen a lot of success there as well, the broadcasters. But also the advertisers, because TV is big market, and YouTube is still only taking a small percentage of this. So I guess they want to go after that growth of the advertising revenue.
Yeah, of course. I mean, what do you think the TV industry will look like in 5 years' time?
Well, I think it's interesting because like sometimes some of what we see works on YouTube on TV. It's actually some of the TV formats is just like a different way of doing it. So I think the programs themselves might actually evolve over time, but not be so different in the way. But then I think there will always be this kind of different mixed strategies. Some of the broadcasters will continue to push on YouTube. A lot of them are very invested there, but also have their programs and their platforms where maybe there is more that you can see. I know some of them I found success by promoting on YouTube and having certain amount of content and generating revenue there, but also like seeing increase on their streaming on their own platforms as well. So I think this balance of like a promotion platform, but also like a consumer platform for them will continue to be found.
Yeah. And now it's time for Hero of the Week, where my guests get to nominate the person or thing that's made a big impact on them in the last few days. So, Victor, who's your hero of the week?
So it's a thing, I think.
It's a thing.
Say.
Okay.
So I would say Spotify. Interesting. So last year they announced that they are pushing more into video content, and they start to share some of the revenue of the premium users, which is a big part of Spotify user base, with the content creators. January they share some results. There's been like several people that made 5 figures from what they say. Hundreds of them made 4 figures. Of course, it's still like kind of small scale compared to what we know, but I found it, for me, they are the hero of the week because it's another platform who goes and support the content creation ecosystem within the podcast sphere, but also broadly within the video sphere. So I think it's good, and they also been profitable, I think, from their earnings also. I hope this will continue to grow as a platform.
Does that mean you're going to be leaning into video podcasting with Spotify?
Yeah, so we actually distribute some of our video content on Spotify and on podcasts already. Some of it wasn't necessarily made to be podcast, but actually we found that people consume them on podcasts like Brightside, for instance.
Right.
And actually we found some good success, and we get millions of listens on those. And so yeah, we and again, without marketing necessarily, but we think it's a growing platform, and we're happy they're investing more into the ecosystem.
And this was content that was originally shot as video content that is just purely working as an audio experience.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's again all experimenting, but we found the audience, and we're happy to see that there is more push into that direction from Spotify.
Yeah. And now, Victor, it's time to find out who or what is going in the bin.
So it's also going to be a thing, I guess. It's the AI pin. I don't know if you remember, it was a device.
AI pin?
Yeah, it was a device that was launched about last year, or maybe even, which was supposed to be a revolutionary AI device that you put on your chest, and you can ask it to take some actions. And it got a lot of harsh criticism online.
Yeah.
And actually, it went officially bankrupt, I think, this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, like, people that bought it, they didn't get any kind of refund or anything like that. It was $600, I think, and you have to take a subscription as well of $25 per month.
Wow. I
think fundamentally, maybe like the product, there was a vision behind it. I'm not going to explain it. But it's just one of those where. There are other things. There was like the robot with AI that go get your toilet paper, for instance. It's just, again, like one of those things like with AI, I think, there's a lot of interesting things going on and a lot of progress being made and a lot of things to take from for us. But also like, let's sometimes be rational and critical as well of some of those announcements. And
well, wearable tech is something that is still struggling to get into the mainstream, isn't it? I mean, we've seen Meta and the glasses, and obviously Apple's moving into that as well. But in terms of other wearables, I mean, there doesn't seem to be anything else, certainly that's AI driven, that necessarily has made that breakthrough. But
exactly. It's one of those where the AI words is there for a specific reason, maybe. But
AI for AI's sake.
Exactly.
Victor, thank you very much for joining us on TellyCast this week. It's been brilliant to speak to you, and all the best for London Screenings Week, which I know you're here and having lots of meetings, and we look forward to seeing you at the ceremony for the Digital Video Awards in June.
Yeah, looking forward. Thank you for having me.
All right, thanks for being on the show. Well, that's about it for this week's show. Thanks very much for watching. TellyCast was produced by Spirit Studios and recorded in London. We'll be back with another show next week. Until then, stay safe.